yeah, just know that it's not a good idea. Whatever you're typing is not private. I'll say that again. All right, let's try this again. Should be better now. I'm hoping it is. Thank you for joining, guys. We're talking insurance, life insurance, health cover with Tashangel. Is it better now, honey?
Yeah,
Okay. So you don't have to do the whole thing again, but you can reintroduce your company because that's important.
no problem. So I'm Natasha, owner of the Insurance Angels, and you can find me at Insurance Angels on Instagram. We are a insurance brokerage based in Canary Wharf, and we take pride in going out into the community and educating people about the importance of long-term life planning. Should we do a check to see that everyone can hear and it's all clear from other people's perspectives?
I can see it here.
Okay, cool.
Let me see. Just waiting for the live to refresh because I had it still on the other one. Because
I don't know if you can hear me, but okay, because you're circling out actually, and quite
again,
grainy. Yeah.
so, but you know what? Because we can hear, what I think is we can continue. Because I think the information is very important.
Okay, no
The,
problem. So I'll
the
just talk
information,
away as I do.
yeah. Because I can see it here and it's clear,
Okay,
but
perfect.
I can hear you clearly. So if I can hear you clearly, that's what we need. And I'm recording, so the information is key.
No problem. Okay. Well, thank you so much for inviting me. I'll just talk away about insurance and the importance of long-term life planning. People,
Yep.
this is one of the most important things you can organize for yourself. The younger you do it, the better it is for you because it's much cheaper for you. But also it just means that no matter what happens in life, when life happens, you and your family are protected. So
Yeah.
the basics of life insurance is quite simple. It provides a payout to your family in the event of death or terminal illness. Now, it's something
Mm.
that we as a people don't like to talk about, but life is life. And therefore,
Yeah.
it's really important just to have something in place so that your funeral is paid for, that you can leave money to support your children if you pass when they are young, which is not
Mhm.
uncommon. Um, and also just to take care of any debts that you may have, because debts unfortunately pass on to our loved ones. So imagine losing a loved one, then you're accumulating their debts, and then you're accumulating the cost of a funeral. It doesn't make sense. So for as little as £5 a month, you can safeguard yourself and your family and ensure that everybody's fine. Life insurance is also the quickest way to pass wealth down from generation to generation. If you insure yourself for £1 million, when you pass, your children will inherit £1 million. And that's how you can create millionaires within your lineage.
Mm.
The second thing that we should have as a people is critical illness cover. Now, we have all just come out of a pandemic. Whether we're out of it or not, I do not know. But the fact is, a critical illness can happen to anybody. It's a cancer, a stroke, heart attack. All these kind of things can happen at any given time. We've got one of our local artists who recently had a stroke, and I'm sure we wasn't expecting that, he wasn't expecting that, but the fact is it can creep up on you at any age. So by having critical illness cover, it pays
Sorry,
you out.
guys.
You all right?
Yeah.
Good.
Our local artist that had a stroke. That's where it ended.
Okay, so one of our known Northwest London artists recently had a stroke, and actually made him lose his voice. And if your voice is what you make your music from, it's going to be difficult to
Mm.
earn an income. So by having critical illness cover in place, what this does is it provides you with a lump sum of cash. You can give yourself £50,000, which means that you can take time out to heal. And if you can take time out to heal without worrying about bills, how you're going to feed the kids, pay the mortgage, just survive, it means that you can heal quicker. But also you can
Mm.
access certain things like private medical insurance. You can access private healthcare to even help you heal quicker, because we just want to be normal. So these two are really fundamental in any household. With critical illness cover, it also covers your children. So God forbid that situation happens and a child is diagnosed with a cancer. And we all saw it with that young baby, the daughter of Ashley Kane, when she had a very aggressive cancer. Unfortunately, she couldn't be saved. But there is some products within our insurance line that basically can provide you with life-saving treatment and access to life-saving treatment for as little as £3. So, for example, if you can't get treated in the UK, your global treatment will pay for you to be sent to another country that has that treatment. It will pay for the treatment, the aftercare, the medication. It will even cover your children. So it covers an adult and a child or their children. It pays for chaperones to come along. It pays for a partner to come along to give you support. And it covers you for up to 2 million. So imagine having that in your back pocket. Life can happen to the best of us, but having things like that in your back pocket for £3 a month really is priceless, because when you need it, that's a card you're going to draw as quick as possible.
That's right. Tash, I've noticed something we forgot. Could you type your insurance company so I can pin it?
Sure. One sec. There we go. So that's where you guys can find me.
Okay.
I offer free consultations. So with insurance, it isn't one size fits all. It's really based upon you, your situation, your age, etc. But the younger you are, the cheaper it is. Another thing that we discussed was private medical insurance. This is so important at this time, especially, again, we've come out of a pandemic. The NHS are really strained. People are finding it difficult to get access to basic things like dentist appointments, basic care that you generally wouldn't bat an eyelid for. My son recently injured his foot and he's a footballer. So the doctor said it's going to take about 8 to 10 weeks for an x-ray. He needs his feet now. He doesn't need it in 8 to 10 weeks.
Months, yeah.
So luckily we have private medical insurance, and I was able to give my insurance guys a call. They got him seen that week. He got his x-ray, he got treatment, physio, boom, bam, he's back on the pitch. So it's as simple as that. And there's a lot of people out here who suffer in silence because they don't have the right things in place. So it's really important as a family, especially in our community where we suffer the most sometimes, and there's a lot of discrimination and women are not listened to or heard. When you bring out your private medical insurance card, guess what? You will be heard, because you're paying to be heard. And it's sad to say that we have to pay for it, but would you not want to have control over your life and have a say in how you're treated, when you're treated, and what's going on with you and your body?
That's right. It's important.
Very important. Now, we live in a community where there's a lot of crime, gang violence, people being killed for no apparent reason. And with life insurance, this covers your children, not just you, but your children. And unfortunately, the world is very different now from when we were growing up. So there's a lot more danger on the road. So we have to make sure that we have these safety nets in place. I can see somebody here that said, what are the price plans? So they actually start from as little as £3. For your global treatment, it's £3, which gives you access to £2 million. So with any form of life insurance, they actually have day one cover, which means the moment you get your policy documents and you have been accepted, you're covered. So if anything happens tomorrow, guess what? They're going to pay out. So guys, if you are a parent, if you are a singleton, because single people should have this too, if you are human with blood flowing through your body, you need to have this kind of thing in place. Life insurance, critical illness cover. And if you're self-employed, there's something called income protection, which provides you with your own personal sick pay. So again, it's just having your own back in life with these things. So I'm giving away free consultations. Really straightforward. It takes about 15 to 20 minutes, depending on your needs. But with that, you get a consultation, quotation, and you get yourself covered. And we're giving away depending on what kind of cover you've got this month, where you've got 2 months free healthcare insurance. You've also got 2 months cash back for your critical illness cover. We're also giving free children's critical illness cover and a free will as well. Now, I'm not sure whether you know much about wills, but wills are really important to have in place because they set forth our wishes in terms of what we want to happen to our children, to our belongings, and to ourselves when we pass. If you don't have a will in place, if you don't put your policies and you organise yourself, unfortunately, the government will decide exactly what is happening with your belongings and your children as well. So imagine if you have a young child, life happens and death occurs at a young age, where would that child go? If you name the guardian, if you name where you want your child to go, where the money should go, where all your belongings go, it means that nothing goes in the wrong hands. But if you don't take responsibility for, I suppose, being a responsible adult and putting these things in place, then a stranger decides the fate of your children and everything that you've worked for. So for me, my job in my community is really just to make sure that everybody has the right knowledge, puts the right things in place. It's not overly expensive. It should always be affordable, and live your best life from there, really.
I want to touch on my experience because most people only understand things if somebody else has done it.
Yes.
It's like a trending thing with everything. I didn't take up insurance with you because I already had insurance and didn't know. So I started my insurance 1998. I was healthy, I was an athlete, very, 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 very active. So because I did so much, always up and down, always touring, um, nothing was ever wrong with me. So when I decided, okay, I got married. So I decided, if I'm gonna have a baby, first things first, we need to have a will, we need to have health insurance and everything. When it comes to the birth, I want to be comfortable, you know. And lo and behold, I had a premature baby at just before 6 months.
Oh.
He was in hospital for 3 months because he was the smallest baby they'd ever seen. So born at 1 kg, which is the size of sugar, bag of sugar, he was tiny, tiny,
Oh.
tiny. It was like a hamster.
Oh, bless him.
So whilst he was in hospital, I was back and forth breastfeeding and taking care of him as tiny as he was, and dad as well. So because of that health cover, we had a special suite. So we could stay at the hospital. We had luxuries. Even though our house, we actually had a house right next to the hospital. So it's like I walked to labor. It was about 5 minutes.
Oh, wow.
So it was that close. So just to say, my journey started there, and boom, my life changed. I started getting sick. I started having issues, health issues. I started having surgeries right through my life from there. So from 98, no, from 99 going on till now, that's 24 years of surgeries. Count the surgeries if I had a surgery a year, how many years and how many surgeries does that equate to? So I had health insurance for a long time. I'm not going to mention the health insurance and life insurance cover that I had then, because after being in hospital so many times, they pay you out when you're in hospital for long stays,
Yes.
as you're about to explain. So I was getting money for being in hospital. So if I'm in hospital for a week, guys, that means I get paid per night. So you get your payment after your stay, because obviously then you can calculate how long you stayed.
Yes.
So don't be like in hospital saying, I'm in hospital now, and expect them to just pay out. You have to wait until you get home, and you know your discharge letter says how many days you stayed in, etc. And they'll pay you out comfortably and say, look, because obviously we know your situation. So um, I got I was in hospital a lot, and I did feel it for the insurance company because they got fed up of paying to the point where they ended up saying, we're no longer happy to pay you out, and we need to investigate on what kind of illness you have. I didn't have an illness. a lot of negligence took place on
Wow.
diagnosing what was wrong with me. So I didn't have anything wrong with me. It was just negligence would cause another operation. You see what I'm saying? So it was not foreseen each time. So in the end, I had to go private, but not knowing what I should have known. And because the insurance company had dropped me, I paid cash
Oh.
for my private treatment. I was going Harley Street and paying a lot of money each appointment. Sometimes I'd have like 2, 3 grand in my pocket and pay. Sometimes I'd have 5,000 and they tell me the price and I pay. Sometimes they tell me, oh, you need medication, it's 3,000 for this, and I pay. So, guys, at the time, because you're under pressure and you're not aware of what you need to know, and there's always a phone call to an insurance company, even if it's not the one that you were with. Second opinion is always great, because some insurance companies, they'll do the same job, but there are underlying you know aware, like there's an underlying awareness of, if you have this or if you're diagnosed with that, some insurance companies will not pay. So you have to state everything, be very
Yes.
clear. Don't hide anything thinking, oh, if I don't tell them then I won't get it paid. They'll know. They're gonna know. you know so that's another thing. And as Tash was saying, in terms of the will, I've always had a will and I update my will every year. So if you pay, for example, £30 for the whole year, you can update your will as many times as you wish. Every year, your life changes in some way or another. You might have an extra car, you might have a different house, you might have more goods, more valuables, more. So you may have to add those things to your will. Another thing, don't tell your children how much they're going to inherit. Some children have done certain things to their parents for the will. Same with your husband or your wife. So it's always good to know what you have in place, but it's private to you, and make sure you have it in place. A lot of people, as you said, are afraid to talk of death before death. My mum just passed away not long ago. She organized her casket. She organized the food at her funeral, knowing there's going to be a lot of people. There were 4,000 people on Facebook at my mum's funeral, on Facebook alone. Not even my Insta, not even my this, not even my that. So, just to show you, responsibility is key. It's not, oh my God, I don't want to wish death on myself. It's not wishing death on yourself. Every white man's generation that has passed has been responsible enough to think of their offspring and their upcoming spring. So
Mm-hmm.
when you're telling yourself, I want to have a business so that my children can inherit, it's the same process of thought that you should have when it comes to insurance, life insurance, health cover, and your will. I even said, oh, down to, and it's just an example, on my other car, if I die before my dad has to have that car because I know he likes that car. It's that detailed. You have to make it clear, because in the event of death, I'm not saying people lose their minds, but people lose their conscious reality. They do act out of turn,
Yes.
and you don't want that on your conscience, chest, and the pressure. And if you could look down and see how your family is reacting to your death or behaving, you would not like what you've created out of you just passing. So down to clothes, I have I can't even tell you. I've got a shop in my house. So I've designated shoes, bags, jewelry, everything. I've listed it all because I know people are going to come and pick what they want. People are going to argue over who gets whatever. So I've got antiques. I've got ornaments that are worth a lot. And those ornaments, I've specifically specified who will get what. So besides the money, everything else counts. But in terms of health, as you said, even down to dental care, isn't it?
Yes, dental
As
and
you said.
optical as well.
Yeah. So you'll be having all these little underlying issues and you think you can't afford to fix it, but you can because you're paying for it every month. Insurance is a pool. Everybody is throwing in, so the money is in the pool. So if you visualize a pool, full to the top of money, what's the reason for you not to get money out if you can see it with your eyes that it's there? So that's what insurance does for you. You all put in, and when it's another one's turn, just like partner, because people understand partner very well.
Yes.
When it's your turn, you get your draw, yeah? So, as she's explaining, it's one of those things where use it to your advantage as a person, because we never know what we're entitled to unless we actually go for it and grab it. A lot of people are afraid just because it's got death on the underlying part of the whole title. But it's not about death, it's about living, existing, and continuing on forward, responsibility, and your children. So that's just me. You can continue, babe.
And that is so true. I mean, your example is a very prime example where out of the blue, unexpectedly, you've having to have multiple nights in hospital. And for as little as £9, there's a policy out there called MetLife. And what that does is it pays you, has something called hospitalisation benefit. So for every 24 hours that you're in there, you get paid up to £250. But the greatest thing of this is it covers your kids too. And it covers a multitude of things. So even if you can't afford a big £1 million policy, there's somewhere to start that can give you multiple benefits, so that if you get sick, if you break a bone, if you get a cancer, if you pass away, it will cover those areas for you. With health insurance, again, we don't know what we're going to be diagnosed with. I've got high blood pressure. It pains me. It's always bothering me. And luckily, I've got private medical care, which means that when it does and it gets to a bad place, I can go to a private suite. I can get the best medicine, and I know that I can be treated and taken care of without having to stress about, oh my God, I hope that they can do the test, whether I can get an appointment and so forth. So it's about empowering yourself. We are a people. I'm not being racist when I say this. Black people are ignored, and our cries are not heard. We apparently don't feel pain. But when you can empower yourself to say, do you know what? I got private medical insurance. You have to listen to me now, because I'm paying for this service. So I need to see the best doctor. In fact, I can choose that operation that the doctor has recommended, and it's already paid for because I pay £40 a month for my private medical. So it's about empowering yourself and also your children too. One interesting fact, actually, when we pass away, and if we don't have a will and we've accumulated wealth within our life, the government will take 40% of your estate if you do not have the right things in place. So it's important that you have a trust which protects your money. If your estate is worth more than £325,000, 40% of that will go to the government before your family even see a penny. And they decide where it goes and who it goes to. So that will that you're updating every year, high five, because that's what we should be doing as adults. It's not the most exciting conversation, but actually when you do it, you're like, oh, is that it? I'm glad I got that off my chest. One more thing ticked off. Let me go live my best life.
That's right.
So you're never too young or too old to protect yourself. As long as you're 18, you're good. And if you've got children from 16 plus, you can actually get them their own little policies. It will cost them about £4. What's it, about £4.50 to get a £25,000 critical illness cover for your child, and that will cover them up to the age of 68. We spend more than that on a Magnum. Magnum and a Coke in the shop. So it makes sense to sort these things out whilst your kids are young, whilst you're young, before life happens. Because once life happens, you can't get these insurances because they're medically underwritten, and it makes it a little bit more difficult for you to get insurance, and it makes it your choice is quite limited in terms of the products you can get. It's not impossible because I work with all the providers, but it means that you're limited in terms of how much you can take out and what you can have access to.
And that's the thing. People will spend very quickly on a takeaway.
Yes.
What they could spend on life insurance for the whole entire month is the price of maybe a coleslaw and a
Very true.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Guys, you have to think about let's weigh this thing up correctly and use logic behind our movements. And Tasha, I have to say this, there are a lot of people amongst us who cannot read. and they hide behind the fact that they're good at calculating money, they're good at doing the basic stuff, and they're good at blending. But for those who cannot read, there are a few of you who've had to approach me to ask me to do certain things for you. Again, it still stands. I'm happy to try and help when it comes to filling out certain things, but don't be ashamed or afraid to approach Tash if you need help in understanding what it is you want. Just contact either by phone, isn't it, or
Yes,
Instagram, or through the company. But don't be ashamed, shy, or afraid to ask for help with the forms. Don't feel like the insurance company is going to try and palm you off just to get you to get the most expensive policy. It's not about the expense, it's about whatever happens, the criteria speaks for itself. So if you've got no children or you've got children, you're still going to have to pick a package that is compatible with who you are and what you
exactly.
are. So there's no such thing as ripping you off. It's just like getting a plan. When you're buying a line rental and you want a mobile that suits your usage, you tell them, and then they tell you what the package is and how much it is. Simple. You definitely pay more on your mobile than you'll pay on this life insurance cover.
100 million%, and it won't do as much for you as it would. I mean, the thing we do is a consultation because it's about you and your needs. So the first step is a 15-minute conversation, just getting a feel of who you are, what your responsibilities are, and then it's recommendation. With that recommendation, we have to take into account your budget, because what you don't want to do is break your back for insurance and then you can't sustain it. It makes no sense. You'll be back to square one in a couple of weeks, and who wants that? So by having a
Yeah.
proper consultation, you can go online and find these things, but you won't have access to certain products that we have access to. But also, we hold your hand along the
Yeah.
way. So if you can't read, if you're having difficulty in certain areas of your life, we actually help you to claim. Our job is to protect you as your lifetime advisor. So never be scared to speak to a consultant. I'd say be more fearful of trying to do it yourself, picking the wrong thing, and then not getting paid out because you decided to say, well, I'm not really a smoker because I only smoke when I go raving, and I don't really go raving that often, but I'm not a smoker. You press no. Once you press no, but you've had a cigarette within that 12-month period or even a spliff, unfortunately, that could be grounds for not being paid out. So by having the
Hmm.
right advice and guidance along the way, it means you know your children are getting their money.
Yeah.
You're going to get treatment when you need it. And you've
Hmm.
got a policy fit for purpose. Now, there's a lot of people out there who already have policies, and I have to
Hmm.
advise you to check when it expires. What people don't understand is that some of them have expiration dates. In fact, 99% of policies have expiration dates. If you're a parent, that means it's not really fit for purpose because you're hoping this money is going to go to your children. So if you want your policy to pay out, you need something that's more fit for purpose. So what I tend to do is give you one that has no expiry date, which means you can live to 500. It's paying out.
Hmm.
It's not stopping when you're 68. So
Yeah.
regular reviews are really important, guys, because it just means that you know what you've got is relevant for you for this time. Because £25,000 10 years ago is not the same value as £25,000 today.
Yeah.
So,
Um, Tasha, I have you on 4 different devices.
oh, wow, okay. Hi, guys.
So yeah, I just thought if you could just shout them. Facebook, Bigger, my other Instagram here, and this Instagram. So there's four of you really.
Oh,
So,
wow.
but everybody is watching me, but they're listening that isn't here. So they're all, sending messages or whatever. I don't know if you've seen any messages along our chat here on this Insta, but scroll down. If you see any, I need you to read them because I can't see.
No problem.
So if you
So,
can just scroll down as far as the beginning, if
so I've
there's
got one
anything that
here.
may.
And a lady said pregnancy is key also. And this is a point that I didn't touch on. If you have life insurance and critical illness cover in place before you have a child, if you have any pregnancy complications, it will pay you out depending on the complication. So for
Right.
example, if I give you a real life example of a young woman in her 20s, just met her partner, having their first child, and then she has preeclampsia, which means she has to be signed off from work. If she has income protection in place, it means she's going to get a sick pay directly to her every single month until she feels better. But then if the baby goes on to pass away, or she has a miscarriage, depending on the stage of pregnancy, because it's not going to be the first 3 months, they'll actually pay out to the mother so that she can take care of arrangements, but also take a time out in life, because mentally that can hurt you. It will hurt you. A loss is a loss. They also provide things like counselling services and somebody to talk to, because sometimes you don't want to talk to your family. People are quite judgmental. So having an ear, having access to support services can be the difference between getting over something very quickly and sinking deeply into depression. So that's with that. So if you are of a childbearing age, it's important to have this in place. Let's see if there's any more.
That's what happened to me. I had preeclampsia when I had that experience that I was talking about with the first
Oh,
child.
wow.
So that's exactly what happened when we ended up in hospital, you know, taking care of him. For those 3 months, I was getting the payout to manage, etc., etc., till he came out of hospital and came home and all of that. And then I got back on my feet. But yeah,
Exactly.
it's at least I can say what you're saying is exactly what I said, but you didn't even know what it was. But
Yes,
yeah.
it's so common in women and equally in men with prostate cancer. 1 in 3
Yeah.
men are diagnosed with prostate cancer in their lifetime. But worst case is that 1 in 2 black men are diagnosed. It's rife within our community. Why, I don't know, but they pay out. So if you did get a low-grade prostate cancer, it means that you can get a 50, 60, 70,000 pounds, depending on how much you've insured yourself for, which means you can stop working. You can focus on just healing and organizing yourself and just resting and making sure that you heal properly without having to lose your house, without starving because you can't buy food, without your children suffering because you can't even buy a school uniform because there's no money coming in. So it works in so many different areas of life.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it with the questions, you know. Have you got any
Okay.
your end
I
at
have
all?
some here, but somebody had to get blocked. I had to block someone.
Oops.
But yeah,
Okay, no problem. Where they're being naughty.
that's why I was like that. I was like, oh, okay. And I just had to block them.
No
And the
problem.
ones on my Bigo, I can't touch the phone because it's literally just on the tripod, and if I touch it, it might fall. So there's questions there, there's comments there. I can't see, it's too small. So
Well,
I just have to smile.
no problem. Well, I'll give out my contact details and you guys can text me, WhatsApp me directly.
Yeah,
It's absolutely fine. And then I can give you advice relative to you, because sometimes questions are quite personal when it comes to these things. So if you
yeah,
want a free consultation,
yeah.
or just
Don't
a
feel so
chat and some advice, I'm not one of these pressurizing saleswomen who say buy, buy, buy and try and cheat you out of your money. My job is to make sure everyone in my community are covered, their children don't suffer, and everyone's nice no matter what happens in life. So my number is
mm,
07 378 152 808. I'll write it in
let,
the comments
yeah,
as
put it
well.
in the. Mhm.
And you can
And
DM
don't be
me.
chatting up, guys.
Yes, me I want it. Purely
Come serious.
professional.
Yeah. All right. At least if you buy a few policies first, if you get 10 policies for her, then maybe you might get a drink, a night out and get a drink, and that's it.
I'll buy you a drink in Canary Wharf by the office.
Well, cup of tea.
Yes. So consultations are done over the phone. They can be done via Zoom and they can be done face to face, because some older people can't use the technology. But also we
Yes,
think about,
you reckon? My grandparents are the best there. She taught me.
oh bless you. And
They
that's
were
the
like, "This is how you do it."
go on, Granny.
Go.
But no, speaking about grandparents, one thing we have to ensure also is that our parents have adequate cover, because unfortunately life does happen when you get to a
Mm,
certain age. And if our parents don't have cover and we don't have £15,000 in our back pockets to organise funerals and so forth, we are really
yeah,
in shit, excuse my language. Sorry to swear.
yeah,
But that's what happens. And then people are scraping GoFundMe's. And you can't guarantee how much money you're going to get from a GoFundMe. What if the person isn't
yeah,
really a likable person? People won't
yeah.
give money, and you'll never know what people's thoughts are about another person until they pass
Mhm.
away.
That's right.
So guys, ask your parents if they're organized in terms of what plans have they got a funeral plan. If they don't, if they're over 80, then the only thing they can have access to is a funeral plan. But if they're under 80, then as a family you can pay for your parents' life insurance. It's also the quickest way for you to become a millionaire. Insure your parents for
Mhm.
£1 million. We know in the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years, depending on how old they are, life will happen. It's just a cycle of life. I'm not saying you do not do anything to your parents, but it's something
Yeah.
that the grandkids can then benefit from, that the family can benefit from. And it's a family conversation, a sensible one.
Mhm. It's inevitable.
Exactly. Life is life. It's a cycle. We are born and the cycle continues.
Mm-hmm. Um, just to say, right? For example, people who are afraid of talking about death. Some people have this fear because certain times it's traditions as well, which make people, feel that if they say this or if they speak of this, they're speaking on this. But remember, a funeral home is forever prepared for the dead.
Yes.
And the people who own a funeral home are people just like yourself. So the funeral directors themselves are not guaranteed to wake up tomorrow to bury you. But
No.
they have health insurance, life insurance, they've got cover, they've got everything in place because they're aware every day when they bury someone and give a good send off that tomorrow it could be them in that casket as well. So, same thing with doctors, same thing with nurses, same thing with every single profession that deals with handling another human being. They have the experience of living every day, getting home and pretending to be okay when maybe 4 or 5 people have passed that day at hospital. So if you're afraid, what about them? And if you're thinking of traditional um, communication, should I say, just remember every country has a nursing facility, doctrines, it's all there. So they still have to cover their mental state, which is, I have to accept at some point in life, I'm not going to be here. So if they can do it, you can. Just start focusing on the benefits of what you have brought into this world, which is your children or child, and maybe what you're going to bring into this world. Because sometimes you may end up pregnant without realizing, and it's very possible because it happens in childbirth. A parent could pass even through the process of giving birth. Um, be prepared beforehand. Just set yourself up in a way which, you know, life will cover itself for you. So you don't
Exactly.
have to worry. Because people like to do things last minute when they're on their deathbed. Oh my God, let me see what I can do now because I can see that I've got 2 months to live because maybe you would have been told that. That's when it becomes difficult to get a policy because now you have something which they can clearly see they have to be cautious and aware of. And then it could be your mindset that they could be aware of as well. Like, are you in sound mind to make this decision, to sign this letter? Things can just go downhill fast. It's
Yeah.
like we were saying about the artist having a stroke. A stroke is instant. There's no timing to a stroke. So could he have filled out or could she have filled out a form in stroke state? No.
No.
You have to be prepared beforehand, just in case, because we are all capable of ending in that position.
Exactly.
No one is No one is exempt.
Exactly. And bless that artist, he actually done a interview with Silver Star, and during that interview he said, you know, I lost my voice, and my voice is how I make money. I'm known for my voice because I'm a singer. And basically he couldn't even get speech therapy because the NHS had such a long waiting list, so he had to reteach himself and train himself because his voice was the most important thing to him. So it's really about just accessing the things that you need at the time you need it. Having the
Yeah.
right cards in your back pocket so that when you're presented with a blackjack, you got the red.
Mhm.
Cancel that out
Yeah,
and move forward. Not pick up
that's true.
20 million cards and get stuck with a handful of bad ones.
Mhm.
So
That's
guys,
right.
yeah. So if you haven't got anything in place, guys, get in touch at Tash. You can go Insurance Angels UK, or just give me a shout 07 378 152 808. No question is silly. No amount is too small. It's about having a little bit of something is better than nothing at all.
Could you say the number again? 07.
07 378 152 808.
And no sleazy phone calls.
No thanks, guys. I've had my fair share. I only talk business. So, and I'm very polite. So please don't take it the wrong way if I say no. And I don't
That's
date
the
guys
policy.
who do not have policies.
You have to have a policy before you date me. Oh.
Bless you. Well, thank you so much.
Um,
I hope this has resonated with everybody who's been listening. It is
yeah.
important. It's something that we always say, oh, I've been meaning to do that, but I haven't got round to doing it. Just get round to do it, get it done, and go and live your very best life.
Hmm. Yeah. And a lot of people like to do stunts and they're not insured.
Well, look at your crowd. Imagine a yardie man jumping off of a speaker box onto a beautiful queen waiting and gyrating her waist. So many accidents could happen then. If
Exactly.
they have their
Broken.
MetLife.
The best life until it's over. But that's another thing, you know. You know what? That's another thing. There's been only a few, but it happens. There's been an incident where I think it was 2 years ago. One of our dancer friends passed away
Oh,
from a move that went wrong.
oh wow.
And yes, it was difficult to bury her. That was abroad. So what I want to ask is, what are your limitations on distance countries? Do you
So
only do England or is it Europe?
in fact, when they're taking out the policy, they have to be a UK resident. If they move away and still maintain that policy, they'll be okay. They'll need to let the
Okay.
insurers know because they need to get the
Mhm.
post redirected. But at the time of taking out your policy, you have to be in the UK, have a UK doctor, because they do sometimes check your medical records if it's medically underwritten.
Mhm. Sorry.
It doesn't matter if
Yeah.
you don't have your papers as long as you live here, because that's another fear that people have. They haven't yet fully organised their papers. You can still have it because I bet you'll still have a doctor's surgery and a
Yeah.
dentist and a school for the kids, which means you can get a policy. In terms of limitations, there's many people who kind of go abroad at retirement age, but still maintain their policies here. And then when it's time for them to have their funerals, the money's there for the family to fly over, to take care of things, and everything just runs as it should.
Hmm. Okay. That's fine. As long as people are aware, and I'm glad you've said that because that's another thing I was wondering if, what would happen if somebody was on holiday or if somebody lived here or didn't live here. That's good to know.
Yeah,
But there are insurance policies abroad. So, guys, those who are in Jamaica and other places, please still find out about the insurance policy. When you're there begging a credit from London, that credit money can definitely pay for insurance policy out there. It's better. Better you do
yes.
the insurance policy than the credit, believe me, because anything happens to you or your children, you will never regret it. You will
Exactly.
never.
Well, the company that would be in Jamaica would be called Sagrigor, because I used to live in the Caribbean, and
Yeah,
I used to remember seeing all these their offices there. So they seem to be the go-to, but there are quite a
they are.
few because I do help people in other countries source. Even though I do
Yeah,
not benefit from it, my job is not to necessarily benefit; it's to make sure my people have the right thing. That's what's important to me. If I
yeah,
know my people, and the more I can educate my community, and then help my community, it makes my heart feel good. And that's kind of why I
yeah,
do this, because it's one of these jobs where people don't particularly enjoy because of the topic content, but it's not that
mhm,
bad actually. When you get to know me, you realize actually she's going to be my friend now because it was a good conversation. I'll be your
yeah.
financial advisor for life, and it's not just about death. We talk about how we can help you in life to have an easier life.
I want to have laser eye surgery, so what would happen for me if I made
Do you have a condition already? If you have private medical insurance, as you said you do have that, then I'll look at your policy because you could have a claim there. Because if it's something that's developed before you had that policy in place, they can pay for it through your insurance. But if you happened before you had the policy, and then now you try and put that policy in place, they'll check your medical records and they'll find out that it's a pre-existing condition. So there are a lot of
yeah.
terms and conditions and rules, but I can double check what you've got and we can see how we can get you a claim. I'm the plug, girl. I'm the plug.
That would be great. Yeah, because
No
my
problem.
eyesight is fading. As I was saying, I can see little things right now. Think everything right now is a blur. I can just see little tiny figures, things bubbling on that side. I can see little gifts and little teddy bears and little things. That's about all I can see.
Oh,
Over
wow.
here, I can just like I know the way. You see, I've been blind 3 times before, so I know I'm good at navigating. So I can actually do everything without my sight, funny enough. So I
Wow.
can voice type, I can I can activate the phone to read out my messages for me. But obviously I value people's privacy, so I don't need to do that right now. So I can actually read it, but I have to have the phone like here.
Okay.
Um, so I can't see there right now. Part of my problem at the moment is because of the iron. So because I've had the iron today again, I'm really dizzy, disorientated. Everything is even worse right now. It's a proper
Oh,
blur.
wow.
But in the next few days, everything will get sharper. I'll be able to see better and everything. But I realized in the last few months that for sure I need to have surgery. I need correction for my vision. I need the laser eye treatment because my vision fluctuates. It's good, then it's bad, then it's good, then it's bad, then it's good. Yeah. So I just feel like I need to just go for it and just get it done so I can stop having the on and offs, you know, the good times and the bad times randomly. So
Definitely,
yeah.
definitely. Have they diagnosed anything at all, or you haven't got to that
Now
stage yet?
the thing is when it's like the iron situation, it's definitely it will definitely happen. It happens to anyone. But after I've got the iron, I'm gonna then see how I go with my sight this time.
Okay.
So one thing I must tell people, which I've told them before, if you get migraines, be careful. Do not sleep with a migraine. We always think the best result is, oh, I've got a migraine, let me sleep for a bit, and then I'll wake up and I'll be all right. Don't do it. The best thing you can do if you get a migraine is to take maybe even migraine, you get 2 tablets, and stay up as long as you can and try and ease off the migraine before you sleep. Because what happens is your eyes are like this behind your socket when you're going through the tension of the migraine, just like a headache. So if you sleep like this, you've formed a knot If that knot
Yes.
doesn't release before you sleep, your eyes will not release when you wake up. So that can lead to permanent blindness. I
Wow.
was very lucky years ago when I woke up and I couldn't see. Complete pitch black, nothing. Black, black, black. I couldn't see a thing. I was like, I'm blind. Oh my God, this is it.
Oh
We went
wow.
to the eye hospital, and the eye hospital, there were plenty of people who went through what I went through, and they were like, do not sleep on a migraine. I was like, is that what it is? They said, don't sleep on a migraine. A lot of people lose their vision permanently with this because the muscles have stayed like this and they never release again. So I went through 8 weeks, 2 months of this
Wow.
until, and I would take drops all day, every day, every hour for 2 months. So there was no sleeping. As you start dozing off, it's time to take the next one. My alarm would go off, take the next drop
Wow.
every hour without fail. So I never slept for 2 months, basically. But
Wow.
I was lucky. I was very lucky to get my sight back. So people, migraines are not the one. Let me see if I can read this. Somebody's put a
I'm
long
gonna
message.
be here. I'm just grabbing a charger, but I can hear you.
Okay. Right. So yeah, Vigo, I'm so sorry. I don't even know what to do. It's so small, I can't read it. But yeah, it's too small. I'm getting dizzy. Guys, if I take the wig off, you take the wig off, yeah? Because my head is pounding.
No
So,
worries. Just the main thing
and
is
I
that you're comfortable.
the headband and everything. I can't cope. Sorry, guys. I can't do
You
it.
still look good, so don't worry.
My head, oh, I feel so much better. My head is killing me.
We are not defined by our hair, and you look
Yeah,
gorgeous,
I
so don't
felt like
worry.
I was losing circulation in my head.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was killing me just now. I was like, what is it? Oh, it's the headache. Like, because,
Yes.
as I said, when you get iron infusion, feel a little bit weak, your head's hurting a bit. You feel really like disorientated. But once you get, hey, listen, in the next few days, guys, Superwoman,
Your dose of spinach.
I'll be out to rescue the world. If you need me, holler, PH. I'll be there. I've even got my
Bless you.
motivation. I've got my Superman caps. I've got my Superman t-shirt. Well, Superwoman, sorry, not Superman. I've got my super kit. So, yeah, I motivate myself. Sorry.
You got it, girl. You got to, because no one ain't gonna do it for us but us. But girl,
Yeah,
well, don't stay up too late,
yeah,
because I think you should get some rest as well. You've had a long day.
yeah. Crazy. But thank you so much. We all needed this. Guys who came late, just rewatch the whole live and learn what you need to learn. Anything you're not grasping, ask. Don't be shy. Don't be shy.
Yeah, and
And
just send your numbers in. Send me a little text message. Happy to answer questions. Even abroad, I can help you to source somebody in the Caribbean or even Africa as well. So,
right.
yep, you guys have got my number. You can follow at Insurance Angels UK or Tashangel1, whichever it may be, which is easier for you. And
Mm.
yeah, keep safe, which is the main thing.
Thank you again. I appreciate it. I'm glad we did it because I was not going to give up. I said, I don't care how I feel. Listen, just to show you guys, I've even got a sick bowl right next to me.
Oh,
I feel
bless you.
terrible. But I said, I don't care. I'd have to mute
Oh,
myself somehow and let you continue talking.
oh, bless you. Go get some
But
rest, my girl.
yeah, it will pass. I'm gonna eat now and I'll regain some strength. But good night for now. And she's
Good
only
night.
my neighbor, so it's even
Yay.
better.
If you need
So,
anything, I'm here. So holla. I can go shop for you or whatever.
that's
So
what I'm
don't
saying.
worry.
I will. Knock knock. All right, my love.
Bless you. You take care. Thank you so
Take
much.
care
Bye bye.
and thank you. Thank you so much as well.
No problem.
All
Bye.
right. Okay. Right. It's gonna take me a moment to X out everyone. All right. So because I have hold on. Because I have so many lives on, I'm gonna take a few moments to do this because I don't want to mess it up, okay? Um, all right. So thank you everyone for joining. and I appreciate you listening. And if you need any assistance whatsoever, oh my God, if you see what I typed, oh sugar, get eyesight. Let me try. Yeah. Um, Lord. Yeah. Thank you for listening and for taking in the learning. Yeah, which Tash had to kind of implement in your lives. Very good to, you know, learn things that you maybe never grew up understanding, because our parents sometimes were like, oh, this is not for you because you're a child. And then you grow up and they still haven't had that talk with you about being, responsible with health and life and death. So don't be a stranger to your own reality. Your reality is you're not living to live forever, you're living to live your life for now. And someday you will pass away. All right? It's okay. I teach my children for the age of 5. Guys, if anything happens to me, this is what I need you to understand and learn. This is the survival kit. Do this, do that, know this. I drill them like little soldiers so that they know, this is what you own, this is what belongs to you. Right. I'm not playing. So you guys just know that it's very essential. It's a necessity. It's like, as I said, being in the army. They're not gonna prepare you to just go and fight. You have to also understand that you might be one of the people that might be amongst the dead at the end of that actual journey. And if you are, you will have to think about the family you leave. Um, sorry, the family you will leave behind. So everybody that goes in the army, they consider that I'm doing this, but I may not come home. You know what I mean? So you have to do the same. Right. Okay. So yeah. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Sorry guys, I don't feel so great, but it's okay. We will be okay, innit? You'll see me somewhere else enjoying myself, like tomorrow or the next day. You know me already. I'm like this now, but brock out tomorrow or the day after. Even without my good sight, I'll be out there enjoying myself. Don't ever get it twisted. And I don't want you guys to live a short life because you didn't live up your life. Live it up to the max. Remember, it's your limit. You're the one limiting yourself in this life. Go for what you want, go for what you need, be determined. And, as I said, don't be afraid. Fear is what will always hold you down. Take care. Love you guys lots. Watch the live back. Yes, I've taken off my wig. Who gives up? Beep. No care in the world. You know me, guys. I'm like this. It's not about how you look, it's about what you have inside. Take care. And I have to take off the Facebook, and I have to take off the next one. Then I have to do, oh, Jesus Christ. Good night, guys. Once again. In fact, I'm going to leave Instagram for a moment. All right. Let me take this one off. My Bigo people, thank you for locking in. Lots of love to you guys.